particular art brought in extra income for the family, and she's happy about that. Many believe that the popularity of her shop was due to the delicious food she served, but unaware that it was actually her daughter spending time with the customers in the other room that kept them coming back for more. Her daughter seems to be enjoying themselves, profiting from the customers, and would sometimes get the customers to drink excessively in order to steal from them while they were asleep. Once upon a time, in the village of Amawom, there lived a man named Ikoku. Ikoku married a very beautiful woman named Ginika. She's so beautiful and chubby. She's caring, and everyone in the village loves her because of her beauty and generosity. She had two beautiful daughters with charming body figure. Ikoku worked so hard to take care of her wife and two daughters. He owns a big shop in the market square where he amends clothes, bags, and also sells clothes materials for people. He had a lot of customers because of his kindness and gentle spirit. People always loved to patronize his business. Ikoku worked so hard and he saved enough money and opened a big restaurant for his wife Ginika. Ginika was so happy and she's a good cook. So her husband knew and believed she was going to do well in the business because of how good she is in the kitchen. Ginika started the restaurant business and it was moving perfectly well. Prominent men would troop in and out to have a tasty of her delicious meals. However, 6 months later, her restaurant became very popular and famous. She was known as Madam Full Option because of her body structure and beauty. With the help of her two daughters, her business flowed. Her restaurant became very famous in the village market. Her restaurant wasn't only for delicious food and drinks, but she also offered varieties of proteins and strategies to satisfy her customers' cravings. Ikoku's business wasn't moving again as his shop was empty and customers did not come like before. Things became very difficult and extremely hard for him. His wife didn't care to support him or assist him. Rather, she calls him lazy and all kinds of names. Ginika's lifestyle changed automatically. She didn't care about her husband. She was just after her business and prominent men who always come around her restaurant. She sells her body to prominent men in order to keep them coming back. Ginika packed out from the house with her two daughters, leaving Ikoku alone in poverty. Ikoku didn't give up. He started doing firm work for people, and they always pay him after the work. Ginika continued her business with two of her daughters, Ugochi and Ebube. She never cared about her husband again. The restaurant was not just a business, but the only source of income for Ginika and her two daughters. Mother Full Option, as Ginika was fondly called by her customers, spared no effort in ensuring the satisfaction of her customers. To keep her customers coming back, Madam Full Option introduced various tactics, but one which attracted male customers the most was her after-sales service. Men particularly were drawn to her restaurants, not just for the delicious meals, but for the after-sales service offered, the opportunity to spend night with any of her two elder daughters for a price. This particular act brought in extra income for her and the family. Many believe that the popularity of her shop was due to the delicious food she served, but unaware that it was actually her daughter spending time with the customers in the other room that kept them coming back for more. Her daughter seems to be enjoying themselves, profiting from the customers, and would sometimes get the customers to drink excessively in order to steal from them while they were asleep. One fateful evening, as Madam Full Option and her daughters were serving their customers as usual, a very expensive car pulled up in front of her restaurant. Madam Full Option and her two daughters were shocked by the sight. In all their years of running the restaurant, they had never seen such a wealthy customer before. As the man in his middle 50s stepped out of his car, Madam Full Option couldn't help but wonder if he was there to patronize her restaurant or simply came to ask for directions. To her surprise, he walked in and took a seat, requesting to see the food menu. Ebube, Madam Full Option called out to her daughter, instructing her to go and attend to the mysterious wealthy man. Ebube confidently approached the man and her curves on display as she presented the menu. The man chose egusi soup with pounded yam. She quickly went to get his order with his mom following her closely behind. Ebube, my dear, Madam Full Option calmly called her daughter. This man seems to be dwelling in wealth, and opportunities like this don't come around often. I want you to do whatever it takes to make him into wanting to sleep with you. If we can get him to become a regular customer, we could make a good amount of money from him, Madam Full Option instructed Ebube, who responded with a confident smile. Mama, you are speaking as if you don't know your daughter anymore. I've already made my move and marked my words. This man will be attracted to me, Ebube assured her mother as she carefully arranged the food on a tray. With short steps and a smile, she made her way over to the man to serve him. Here is your order, sir, and there is something extra that can help with digestion if you are interested, Ebube said, showcasing what her mama gave her to the man, who found it difficult to focus on his meal. Without uttering a word, he started devouring his food while Ebube went away in short gown, leaving the man thinking by her beauty. After he finished his meal, the man walked over to where Madam Full Option and her two daughters were seated to settle his bill. He took out a wrap of money and handed it to Ebube. I know this is more than what I owe, but it's just a token of appreciation for your beauty, and I won't mind trying out the extra digestion you mentioned earlier, the man said. A mischievous smile playing on his lips, Ebube understood his intentions perfectly. Let's head inside then. But that will come at a cost, Ebube replied, running her fingers seductively over the man's arm in front of her mother and sister. Madam, the man called out to Madam Full Option, I would like to take your daughter tonight to spend the night with me, and I will give her 1 million for one night, the man said to Madam Full Option, who quickly accepted, even offering to give him two daughters. However, the man insisted on taking only Ebube. Without any hesitation, Ebube and the man got into the car, heading to his house. Mom, I'm really upset with you. Why do you always send Ebube off with every wealthy man who comes to the restaurant? And I'm the only one left to deal with those pathetic men who can barely support their own families but come running here whenever they have a little money for a night. Her voice was filled with anger and frustration. Madam Full Option chose to ignore her and instead yelled at her to attend to other customers quickly. Ugochi understood the reason behind it all. Ebube was more attractive than her, and her mother believed that her sleeping with those well-to-do customers will ensure their return. All Madam Full Option could think about was Ebube coming back the next day with the 1 million naira the man had promised her. Throughout their journey to the man's house, Ebube was filled with joy and excitement. She knew this was a rare opportunity and she promised herself to make the best out of it. I was thinking we could have the best moment of our lives if you had agreed to stay with me in the other room at my mother's restaurant. But you chose your house. Most men will go for a hotel or somewhere else. But you're taking me to your house. Won't your wife be upset? Or perhaps she won't be around tonight? Ebube inquired from the man. Deep down, she couldn't shake the thought that this wealthy man had developed feelings for her. Even let her mind wander to the possibility of making more than the promised 1 million and perhaps even being gifted a car of her own, like some sugar daddy do. Who needs a wife when a beautiful lady like you is here? Let's save the discussion for later. The questions will be answered in due time. I can't wait for us to arrive my house, the old man replied to Ebube, who was eagerly anticipating their arrival. It feels like I've hit the jackpot, Ebube whispered to herself, already dreaming of what she will use the money for. As they pulled up to a house on a quiet, deserted street, the man parked the car and stepped out, opening the gate on his own. This house stood alone in the area, and the quietness that surrounded that house was more than a graveyard. He returned to the car and drove it through the gate. Ebube had imagined a grand mansion, but this house was nothing like that. Leaving the car, the man locked the gate with a padlock, throwing the key inside the car and locking the car before leading Ebube inside his arm around her waist. Upon entering the simple sitting room and observing its appearance, Ebube couldn't hide her surprise. I was expecting you to live in a mansion. I can't believe you reside here while driving such an expensive car, she said to the man. In response, the man explained to her, I won't want any issue with my wife catching us together, and I'm sure you won't either. I needed a safe place where we could spend time undisturbed tonight. This is my second home from a time when I wasn't rich. Main home is much more luxurious. You can trust me on that. Despite his assurance, Ebube remained doubtful. To ease her doubts, Ebube provided her account details for the promised 1 million naira transfer. Without hesitation, the man fulfilled his commitment, sending the amount and finally putting an end to her worries. After a drink from the fridge, the man offered it to Ebube, who accepted it with a smile. "Shall we make our way to your room?" Ebube suggested, gently touching the man's face. He smiled and guided her towards his bedroom. As they entered his dark bedroom, Ebube requested for the man to turn on the light, but he insisted on keeping it off, claiming he preferred it that way. He guided her to his bed, where they ended up sleeping together. It was in the middle of the night the man gently woke up so as not to disturb Ebube, who was peacefully sleeping, unaware of the impending danger. Carefully, he opened a hidden door in his room that led to another scary chamber. Inside there were numerous human skulls and body parts arranged like ghouls. A bed in the middle of the room was covered with crawling snakes, and three tied women were tied to a table on the left, their mouths folded up, making them unable to talk. Drawing back a curtain, the man opened another door where he spoke with a young man wearing a mask. The man, now dressed in a white gown and holding a white cloth, he signaled the young man to follow him back into his room where Ebube was sleeping. Both of them approached where Ebube lay, with the masked young man holding her leg and other man removing her clothes and tying a white wrapper around her. As Ebube woke up, she was shocked at what she saw. "Why are you doing this to me, and why are you dressed like this?" Ebube asked the man, but he just smiled and carried on with his actions. Ebube was so desperate to escape the situation. She tried to break free, but she was met with punches and beatings from the masked young man, leaving her exhausted and scared of her safety. Having dressed her in white, the masked young man went and carried her to the chamber for sacrifice. Ebube was killed and used for money ritual. Her lifeless body was dumped by the roadside, just very close to her mother's restaurant. The next morning, Madam Full Option came out and expected to welcome her daughter and the 1 million naira as the man promised. But she was dumbfounded and speechless when she heard about her daughter's lifeless body was lying by the roadside. She ran quickly with her daughter Ugochi to confirm what she heard, but she was speechless and in tears. Ebube is gone just because of one night stand and 1 million naira. She lived to regret her actions towards her daughters and was in pain and agony.